Okay, what is that on my screen? Oh, for some reason, this looks really different. I don't know if it's because, uh, wow, this looks really different. Um, no, I don't need the pop-out dashboard. Um, I wonder, I wonder what's, I don't know. Something technical. I don't know. It's looking different. But anyway, guys, well, thanks for stopping by and indulging me for the next little while. Some of you were aware that I was going to go live at 9 o'clock sharp. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jer Bear. This is an encore presentation of a video update. Seems I haven't been active on this channel at all. Um, a lot has gone on, and I kind of wanted to extrapolate on some things and keep everyone abreast on what's been going on lately in my life. I got the house to myself. I don't have any interruptions to speak of other than the dogs, but they're all sleeping. So this should be a fairly easy live stream, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Um, so there were some things I wanted to talk about, some things I really needed to get out there because there have been some major changes in my life. Very important, big changes that I need to address. I want to address publicly. Like I said, some of you knew that I was going live. If you didn't get the notification that I was going live, well, now you have it. I know it's kind of spur of the moment. I wanted to just you know get on here and start doing my thing. Um, you had about 15 minutes to to get the notification that I was going live, but now you have the notification that I am live, and so even if you don't watch it in the during the live stream, you can watch the playback later on, and that would be fine too. So lots of things have been going on in my life. Big things. I haven't been able to record daily rants. I haven't done any Sunday video updates. I haven't done anything of major substance on this channel in the past month or so. And some things I'm about to talk about are pretty extreme. So, for those of you who didn't know, on Thursday, October 19th, my mom died. She passed away. She was in hospice care in Mount Pleasant, which is about an hour and a half drive from here. And I was going back and forth to see her every single day for 2 weeks straight. 2 weeks straight. I would go up to see her. I would stay all day long. I would get there early afternoon and I would stay until 8 o'clock at night and then come back home. Well, on the night of October 19th, I noticed that mom's breathing was changing. Her eyes were glassy, so I knew the end was near. And her fiance had gone home for the night because I think he had to work the next day. And so um, I stuck around because he left, I think, around maybe 3 or 4 o'clock because he had to get up early in the morning because he gets up at 3, 4 in the morning to get ready for work. So I stayed with mom until 8 o'clock that night, and I was the only one in the room. And I noticed that mom's breathing started to change, and I panicked. And I went and got the nurse, and I told them that, hey, mom's breathing has changed. Like she's breathing heavily, like she can't catch her breath. And they came in and said, well, that's part of the process. Um, you know, her gasping for air and having trouble breathing, that's part of the process to where she will ultimately pass away. So I thought nothing of okay, this is what I can expect. Um, and then the breathing would get worse. And I was in the room by myself, didn't know what to do. And I called my dad and I said, mom's breathing has changed. She's finding it difficult to catch her breath. I think you should get up here. So my brother Jay and dad were on their way up to Mount Pleasant from here. They were doing 85 miles an hour. They ended up getting pulled over by a cop for speeding. They didn't get a ticket. Um, but then mom, as they were on their way, mom would stop breathing and I held her hand. I said, "Come on, mama, breathe. Breathe for me." And I would rub her hand and I'd say, "Come on, mama, breathe for me. Breathe." And then she would start breathing and breathing and breathing. And then um she would take her last breath, and I'm holding her hand. I'm sitting bedside, and I'm on my knees on the floor, and I'm holding her hand from bedside. And she took her final breath, and that was it. And I panicked. I lost it. I flipped the fuck out. I went and got a nurse. I said, "Mama, stop breathing." She stopped breathing. Hurry. She stopped breathing. They came in with a stethoscope to check her heart, and they said, "I'm sorry, Jared, but she's gone. She passed." And I wept and wept and wept over her. I blame myself because I couldn't save Ma. I know it sounds really stupid to a lot of people, but because I was the only one in the room when she died and failed. So for the longest time, and maybe perhaps a small particle of whatever it is, I still blame myself because I just feel as though I could have done something more to save Mom, and I feel as though I failed her. And that was it. I started bawling. I called Dad. I said, "Mama's gone." They were on their way. They didn't make it in time before she died. She died at 8 o'clock sharp that night. She was 61, same age as my grandma when my grandma died. She had congestive heart failure. She died back in 1986, 7th of 1986. I was only 3 months old at the time. And it was hard. I lost my shit. I flipped the fuck out. I started punching the walls. I started overturning tables and chairs. And I actually broke one of the legs on the chairs because I threw it so hard. And I called her fiance. They actually got a hold of Mom's fiance. And when he came back in, he walked into the mess that I had made. And I said, "She's gone. Mama's gone." And we broke down crying on each other. The nurses came back in and they gave me the pep talk. "Well, we understand you're upset, but we can't be doing this. You got to think of the other patients in here at the hospice house," which I should have considered that, and I regret blowing up the way I did. Um, it was really hard for me. That was just a horrible night. I don't even remember how I got back home. But by the time Dad and Jay got there, I was on the floor in a corner, and we all just stood there and wept over Ma. It was really just a difficult night for me because I was all alone, and she died in my hands, and I kicked myself because I feel as though I had an obligation, I had a duty to save Mom, and I failed. Now it does sound stupid in hindsight because we all knew that Ma was gonna die. We knew that she had cancer. We knew that her time was very extremely limited. However, as her son, I felt there was an obligation. There was something more that I could have done. I could have been more proactive in her care. I don't know what or how, but I feel as though something was missing. There was something I could have done to save Mom, or at least keep her here longer. And I've been struggling with this because I feel as though I could have done something more. Now, I've had a wonderful support system, lots of friends and family. They've reached out to me because I'm back on Facebook again. They hit me up on Messenger. They've been very supportive and loving and caring and understanding, or at least they try to offer up some words to soften the blow of losing my mom. A lot of people have said, well, she's in a better place, which I would argue that I don't know that mom's in a better place. I know that she's not in pain anymore, and that's the one thing that helps me to cope with loss. But to say that my mom is in a better place, I straddle the fence on that because I can't tell you that mom's in a better place. You can't tell me that mom's in a better place, but I understand the sentiment and I understand where you're coming from when you tell me this. I don't, I'm not trying to be pedantic about these things, certain words and phrases. I know that everybody loses somebody and death is a part of life. It's just something we all got to do. But in my time of loss and knowing that I am a child of cancer survivor myself, these words, people tell me that mom's in a better place. I don't know if I can agree with that. Now, if you tell me that at least mom's not hurting anymore, I'll agree with that all the way every day. So, um, I'm struggling with that a lot, and I'm doing my absolute best to get through each and every day. I'm on a depression medication. I take Celexa, 10 milligrams. It's a small milligram, but nonetheless, it seems to be doing the trick. I have regrettably missed a few days of my dosage. I did take it today, but I had missed a few days of the dosage, and um, it seems to help in some ways, but there is no medicine to cure a broken heart. I miss mom every day. I'm sad that she's gone, and I'm even more angry and frustrated, not so much just because I felt that there should have been more that I could have done, but I feel as though these conversations and the funerals and everything would have been 20 years from now. I feel as though mom had 20 good more years, and who knew that later on would be now? And I wrestle with that just as well. Mom's gone. She was, cremated. Her funeral was on October 25th, and, it was at Mishuk Funeral Home in Chesaning. A lot of people there. She was loved by lots of people, and at her funeral excuse me, at her funeral, I stood up in front of a crowd, nervous as shit, and I talked about how I view my mom as a shooting star whose light just so happened to fade quicker than I would have imagined. And that's one of the things that I was hoping that everyone at mom's funeral would have taken from that, from my little, I guess you call philosophy or analogy or whatever word you want to use. I was hoping that someone there would have taken that in stride as, you know what, we're all just shooting. In the speech I had given, not verbatim, of course, because I don't remember exactly how I said it, but to the tune of, you know what, when we come into existence, we're like shooting stars, you know. When you look at the night sky in the summertime, you see the meteor showers, the shooting stars. It's the most beautiful thing you'd ever see in your life. And when they merge into existence, they shoot across the universe, and the faster they travel, the brighter they get. Eventually, they fade out. And when you look at your friend, you say, "Did you see that shooting star? Didn't you see that? Wasn't that awesome?" That's kind of how it is with life in general. Why shooting stars fade away, I don't know. That's just the way nature intended it. Because if shooting stars never faded, you wouldn't appreciate them as much. You would always take it for granted. Oh, yeah, it's just a shooting star, no big deal. And I think that's kind of symbolic of life and living. You can't take this life for granted because while we're here together, we have to be each other's light. And we're traveling together. We're running parallel through space and time, lighting up each other's world, lighting up each other's lives because we have our own unique shine and brightness. And we're just unique in our own way. And when we fade out, yeah, it's sad, but we should focus more on the fact that, yeah, although it is sad that we fade away, we should be happy that we had that kind of a shooting star in our existence while we're here. And I'm beyond honored and thrilled to know that my mom was my mom. Um, I still have my dad to lean on, of course, and he's been wonderful through all of this. Um, but my mom, I look at it as my mom was a shooting star and her light faded out. And that's another analogy or philosophy that helps me to cope. It helps me to get through um, all of these trying times. And that is the cord for my other mic that you see dangling up there in the corner. Um, and maybe I should have left it down to block out that light. There we go. Now there's not a glare. There we go. That's better. You're just going to see this cord dangling. Uh, I hope it's not too much of a distraction. Um, but yeah, that's where I was. Um, in my head, I'm thinking that mom was a shooting star, and in my own head now today, I'm still struggling. I'm still mourning. I'm still grieving. I'm still going through the motions. When mom was in hospice care, she had a Kleenex that she held onto when she was in her bed. And when I was up there with Ma, she would bring up a lot of phlegm and mucus. Excuse me. She'd bring up a lot of phlegm and mucus. And I would always go in and swab it out. I put my gloves on, I go in and swab it out. I said, "I'm sorry, honey. I know this gags you, but I got to get that mucus out of your mouth because I didn't want, excuse me, I didn't want her to choke like I'm doing now." Um, but I went in, I cleaned out the phlegm and the mucus out of her mouth with the swabs, and I'd feed her. I'd give her drinks in a syringe because they didn't want a lot of water going to her lungs because that it wouldn't have ended well. Although mom was taking the glass and actually lifting it to her mouth and drinking it on her own. Um, but I took care of Ma when no one else was there, and I'm not going to take all the credit. I take credit for the things that I could do for mom while I was there. I take credit for being there. Um, it was difficult for me. It's not to say that my brother didn't give a fuck about mom. He did. He just didn't have a way there. And he knew that when I would go up to see mom, when I would get there early in the afternoon, I would stay all day long until 8 o'clock at night, which I did every day for 2 weeks straight, which is why dad would take them up and they would stay for maybe an hour or two. And then it would be too much for him. And then he would say, "Okay, dad, I'm ready to go home." But I stayed the course. I'm not here to say that I'm better or greater than my brother. That's not it at all. Um, it's just that I had my own vehicle and I could actually go back and forth to see mom. So I don't wanna put any bad implications out there that I'm superior to my brother. That's not it at all. That's not even close, not even remotely close to what I'm saying. It's just that I had my own vehicle and I spent as much time with mom as I could. Um, but I was there and she died in front of me and that was not easy. I'm still struggling. I'm still mourning. Um, I've had a wonderful support system, and it's been everybody's been so phenomenal in helping me cope with this, and my brother, I would add. Um, but it's not something I would have expected to see anytime soon. I would have, like I said, I would have imagined 20 years from now when my mom was an octogenarian, well into her 80s. She would have been 81 in 20 years. Um, she died young. She had a kind of, carcinoma. I can't pronounce the first word in that, something carcinoma. If I try, I'm just gonna butcher it. Um, but it was some kind of a carcinoma. It started in her bladder, and then when they did the biopsy, it just spread through her body. Um, so that's what's been going on. Mom passed away, and I was there, and now I'm down to one parent, which is strange. It's different. It's weird. Usually when I excuse me. Usually when I do the Sunday video updates, I'm talking about other people passing away. Damn it. Excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. Usually I'm talking about other people when they pass away, and Dad and I offer our love and condolences to the family because we've had a lot of death in our family. Um, between June of last year until October of this year, I lost my grandpa. I lost a couple of my cousins. I lost one of my best friends, and just recently, I lost my mom. And we lost a family friend. His name was Al Miller. He had cancer, and he was only, I think, 59. He was young. So, what does this mean now that my mom died as a result of cancer? What does this mean for me and childhood cancer? Am I going to return to advocacy? That's one of the bigger things that I was pandering after this happened. I didn't participate in advocacy or raising awareness this September or the September before it because there's just too much at stake. Um, but now that mom's gone, um, I honestly haven't made up my mind. I don't know if I'm going to return to advocacy. I don't think I'm going to call myself an advocate or pride myself, give myself a special label, thinking that I deserve some kind of special treatment because I have a label, advocate or whatever. Um, but I might, on occasion, during the month of September in 2024, I might talk more about uh, childhood cancer. I'm not going to post gold ribbons. Um, I'm not going to do any of the, go gold and this, that, and the other. Um, but I might just talk openly and raw about my experiences, which anybody who's friends with me on Facebook would know that I went through a world of shit, especially losing mom. And that was probably one of the more difficult things that I've ever had to go through in my life. This has been by far one of the worst fucking years of my life. My house almost burns down. I lose my mom. A cousin dies, a best friend dies. I mean, court appearances, this has been one of the worst years ever. But there were some good points. There were some high points to this year as well. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm drinking Pepsi, by the way. Matter of fact, just recently, I had made amends, and this is going to blow your fucking minds. But after mom died, it shook me. It woke me up to a more clear, broader perspective about life. Now, in the past, I have uploaded dozens upon dozens of daily rant recordings talking about people and how they've done me wrong and how I think that their behavior towards me was an absolute injustice because they believe gossip and rumors without doing the homework and the research um, to find out whether or not someone's being true or if they're being deceitful. Um, I have gone on record as with daily rants as far as the eye can see on this channel. I was actually going to do another daily rant, but I figured I got the house to myself. I can do a live stream. No time better than the present to do this. So I did make amends with an advocate, someone who calls himself an activist. I'm not going to put his name out there. I told him I was going live on this channel. He's been made aware. So whether I don't know if he's watching the live stream or if he's watching the playback, either way, he will see this. I'm not going to put his name out there. I'm not going to, you know, say who he is, but I can narrow it down for you if that'll help you. It's not Ronnie Duvall and it's not Mike Tyson. It's neither one of them because I despise those two, by the way. But this particular individual that I've gone on record of, talking about over and over and over and over again, we are actually trying to excuse me, we're trying to resolve our differences. I apologize for the coughs. Oh, somehow I knew that was gonna happen. But we are we are trying to resolve our differences. We did speak on the phone briefly today. It was actually nice to have the conversation. I asked him if he, how would it what do you think about, becoming Facebook friends? I mean, we've been going at each other for a very long time. We were feuding, and he says, "Well, I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon. Maybe we should just stay friends, keep it on the down low," which is why I'm not mentioning his name. And please don't come at me with guesses because you're never gonna fucking find out. Um, but we're working on burying the hatchet as men. We're gonna try to get along. We're gonna see how things progress. And I'm very hopeful that this new trajectory of our friendship will stay where it is, and it will only continue to get better and better and better, because I don't wanna fight with people. I wanna have as fewer enemies and as more friends as possible. I know I haven't really, I haven't really been the nicest guy, to a lot of people over the years, but here's the thing. The people that I could easily relate to, the demographic of people that I should easily be able to relate to carry on with, to have conversations with, meaningful conversations, a lot of them have thrown me under the bus. And so many people wonder why I lashed out with my Daily Rant recordings. I mean, when word got out that my mom died, there were a couple of people who thought they were gonna try to make amends with me, although they are deceitful and backstabbers, and they thought they were gonna text me and say, "Well, we're sorry to hear about your mom. Your condolences mean absolute dog fuck to me. I don't care. You did what you did. You are friends with the enemy. I got nothing to say to you. Go away. Leave me the fuck alone." Um, but this person, we have had talks. We've been emailing and messaging each other in Messenger, rather, because I don't have Instagram. I don't have Twitter, or what do they call it now? X. I don't have any of that. Just YouTube and Facebook. Um, and by the way, my Facebook account is verified. It's got the check next to my name. I'm a what do you call that? A Meta verified subscriber. Uh, but this person and I were trying to work things out, and it's a very drastic change of heart, because before my mom died, I wouldn't have ever imagined even reaching out, and I was the first one to reach out to this person to say, "Hey, I acted not really fair to you in the past, and I'm I'm sorry for everything, and I wanna try to make amends with you. I want for things to work out." We don't have to jump right into being tight friends, but at least get back on a trajectory where we can actually be on a talking basis again. And we can talk on the phone, and we can message each other, and we can email each other, because I admit I was the problem too a lot of the time. I'll admit it. I've done a lot of things that I'm not proud of either. Um, I've said some things that I'm really not proud of. But the thing that really upset me, and I was speaking out of anger and pain and frustration, the thing that will always bother me is people who can't think for themselves. And this individual that I'm speaking with now, he understands, he agrees with me that the childhood cancer demographic is totally and completely fucked beyond recognition. And that's probably the one thing we both agree on thus far. And I'm glad that we at least agree on some level. It's not to say that I dislike or I hate people. I don't hate anybody. There are a few people that I would rather not speak with, and there are people who are just disgusting by their own actions and their own, admittance of how they behave publicly, that those of us who notice this, we're not afraid to speak up and speak out. But this one person who I'm trying to make amends with, we're speaking again, which is fine, which is great. We're making progress. I know he's watching this because I told him I was gonna do a live stream, and he is actually on his way home from a charity event. I'm not putting his name out there. I think you pretty much can figure out who I'm talking about here. But in any event, if you think you know who I'm talking about, my advice to you is to not pester him about me. Just leave him alone. We're working on building up a friendship. I told him if I ever seen him in public, I would shake his hand and apologize to his face like a man, and I intend to do that even now. He was recently in Grand Rapids at a concert, and I would have liked to have met him in person and shook his hand and said, "Hey, I'm sorry for everything." But he damn it. He doesn't live here in Michigan, if I can speak. He doesn't live here in Michigan. He actually lives out of state. And I'm still open to that. I think he's open to it as well. But in any event, that's where I'm at. So he knows who he is, and he knows that I went live tonight, and I wanted to get a lot of things out into the open. And I just want to say that I'm having a really hard time. I haven't done Sunday video updates in ages. I've only ever done, I think this is the second Encore presentation of a video update that I've done since September. And my regularly scheduled Sunday video updates have just taken a back seat because there's been so much shit going on in my life that I just don't have the time or the patience. And trying to do this without constant interruptions from other people in the room, it would make it nearly impossible to sit here and do this. Dad had to take Amy to the hospital tonight. She's having chest pain. So I figured I would utilize the alone time that I do have to talk about what's been going on. And that's driving me crazy. This thing here in the background. I wanted to also use this opportunity to thank those of you who have reached out to me on Facebook in an email and text message. The ones who I actually talk to, the people I actually consider friends and not just people who are trying to suck up and trying to get points because, oh, we treated you like shit, but now we're sorry. No, fuck you. You're done. You blew it. But my real friends, the people who actually genuinely give a fuck, I appreciate them. And the fact that they're checking up on me almost daily is just it's just amazing to me that I got so lucky with the friends I have, um, because it's been remarkable. It's been remarkable. This has not been an easy year for me, even worse now that my mom's gone. And it sucks. For lack of a better term or a lack of a better way of putting it, it absolutely fucking sucks. I miss my mom so much every day. I miss her more than you'll ever know. And, it's never easy when you lose a loved one. Um, I'm friends with people who are bereaved parents. I mean, they've had to bury their children because they died from cancer. And so I can't relate on that level. And I'm not going to pretend that I know what they're going through because I honestly and truly don't know. And I won't, out of respect for all of my friends who are bereaved parents and the person who I'm currently establishing a friendship with, I am not going to speak out of turn and say, "Oh, I know what that's like to lose someone to cancer." Where we're talking about burying a child, there's nothing like that. There's no feeling like it on earth. And I'm not gonna sit here and put words in people's mouths and pretend that I understand what they go through because I have no fucking clue. I know what it feels like to lose a parent now, and it hurts bad. I grieve every day. I wake up crying, I go to sleep crying. Every day and every night. I haven't written much in my journal lately because I usually I hit the journal a lot. And speaking of the journals, in 6 days, it'll be 24 years since I've been writing journals. I usually do something special on November 16th, but because of my mom's passing, because of her death, I don't think I'm gonna do anything special this year. Maybe next year, maybe when, when the grief kinda dwindles a little bit, I might plan something. But with mom passing away 3 weeks ago, no. I don't think I'm gonna I just don't think I'm ready for that. I might write something in the journal and say, "Yeah, that I would usually celebrate this day because of all the years that I have as a writer writing journals and, whatever," but I don't think I'm not gonna do anything special. Um, Matter of fact, my mom actually she got me started writing journals. Mom actually got me started on that. So, I'm getting over a little seasonal allergy thing. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to hop on here real quick and talk about what's been going on. It's been really hard for me, really hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's been super fucking hard. And losing a parent is just not easy, man. It's hard. It's really hard. I can speak from that experience and from that vantage point, but when it comes to losing a child, I don't know what that's like. I've never lost a child. I have, however, attended funerals of children, and those were absolutely fucking dreadful. Um, adjust this mic here. Those are dreadful. Funerals are not fun, especially when they're children. I've been to 3. I've been to 3 funerals for children, who died as a result from cancer, all from DIPG, by the way. 2 in Michigan and 1 in Ohio. Back when I was doing the advocacy thing and I was still, I guess you would say, cool with some people. One of the cancer warriors had called me up from Monterrey, Mexico when he was in treatment. He had a birthday coming up and he says, "Can you come to my birthday party? I'd really like it if you come to my birthday party." And I said, "I'm there. I'll drive to Ohio." So I drove all the way to Columbus to attend his birthday party and we had pictures taken. He was kind of moody because of the drugs he was on for his cancer. He was acting out of sorts. I don't want to say anything too colorful, but he was acting out of sorts. I mean, it's to be expected. He was on steroids and all kinds of other, a concoction of other just legal poison, I guess. And but we did have pictures taken together, and I met another cancer warrior while I was there, which was nice. She passed away. The little boy who celebrated his birthday passed away, and there was another cancer warrior in West Michigan. I went to his funeral in Rockford, out by Grand Rapids, and um, I went to another DIPG warrior's funeral that way, just a hop, skip, and a jump from my hometown. And I was actually I was recently in contact with that family just to say hello and to send my love. And I had recently written a letter to that family. But yeah, I have a history of being active in the childhood cancer world, not just as a survivor, but um, dedicating my time and my effort and my energy and my resources and everything of me went to try to help other people. And the reason I stopped, mainly the reason I stopped, is because of the unfair and poor treatment that I received from these people. They threw me under the bus and they believed just a bunch of bullshit. So, that's why I said, "Okay, fuck it. You win. I'm done." But I don't I don't really look at it as a win-lose situation. They do, but I don't. I never have. Because I figure if we're all gonna do this together, we all win. There is no, um, us versus them. We all win. But the child of cancer demographic is so fucking divided that, um how do you call it a community with so much division? And that was one of the things I wanted to mention to the person I was talking to on the phone today. We didn't really get around to that, but he did agree with me that he called it a community, which I don't like to use that word, but he says, I agree with you that the child of cancer community is totally and completely fucked up. Well, of course it is. It's always been. Um, Because if you're gonna call it a community, let's act like it. Let's work together as a community should, and let's not bash and belittle. Well, when I was being accused of stupid shit and when I was being bashed and belittled, that's when I started to do the daily rants. Okay, I'll fight fire with fire. Fuck you, assholes. And a lot of people don't understand why I am the way I am now. Well, I think you get tired of it after a while too. When you put your heart and soul and you dedicate so much of, like I said, your time and energy and resources and your efforts to this cause. And for me, it's even more personal as a survivor because I was reaching out to people saying, "Hey, I get it. I understand." And instead of being receptive to it, it would freak them out. Well, I don't know. It's just weird that you're reaching out. What the fuck ever, what the fuck ever. I'm here to help you, and you wanna look at this through a negative lens, that's not my fucking problem. You never gave me a chance to prove to you that I'm not a bad person. Instead, you listen to other people. That's a fault of theirs on their part, not mine, because here I am, back again for another, I guess, I guess you call it like an impromptu video update. Um, I really wasn't son of a bitch. I really wasn't planning on going live tonight, but because I had the time to myself, I figured why not? I might as well utilize the time and talk about things that are important and to get everyone up to speed as quickly as possible. And I don't want to take up too much time, but I'll probably hang out for a little while. Because I usually go an hour when I do the Sunday video updates, and I try to keep all of the updates limited to about an hour, and I've been here for almost 45 minutes already, surprisingly enough. Um, but yeah, I just I haven't done this in a while, so I wanted to come back. I wanted to come back and just say, hey, what's up? And I'm sorry about the cough. My throat's scratchy. That Pepsi probably doesn't help matters, but I'm thirsty. I should probably drink more water. Speaking of health, yeah. I have a family doctor again, and this is gonna blow your mind. Um, so for those of you who know my backstory on childhood cancer, my my oncologist back in 1989 was Dr. Scott. I was diagnosed at Memorial in Owasso. My family doctor is at Memorial in Owasso, and his name is Dr. Travis Scott. So I call him the new Dr. Scott, like the New Adventures of Old Christina kind of a thing. Well, it's the New Adventures of Old Dr. Scott, which I don't see Dr. Scott, so it's the Old Adventures of New Dr. Scott. So it's the reverse, I guess. But um, yeah, he's my family doctor. I had an ultrasound done just recently on the one kidney just to make sure that the functions are still good. Everything's checking out okay. I'll know the results of that probably in the next day or so. Um, I I'm trying to get on the ball. I'm trying to stay on top of my health, and I'm um, trying to stay focused on that. And the dogs have to go out. Of course, they would have to go out when I'm doing a live stream. Give me a second, folks. I'll be right back. Of course, you'd have to go out when I'm busy, wouldn't you? Pull me away from my video. Come here, Scruffy. Now stop. Go ahead. Oh, be quiet over there. But yeah, so that's what's going on with my health. Dr. Scott is the name of my primary care physician. He's at Memorial Healthcare Family Medicine. It's behind the hospital in Owasso. Um, he prescribed the Celexa, and I've been taking that. Like I said, I've missed a few days of the prescription, and there's just so much going on that it escapes me to take my medication. But I do take it. It's for depression, and it's a very small dosage. It's only 10 milligrams. Be quiet over there. That's Luna, Amy's dog, Luna. Um, but I'm trying to get the ball rolling on my own health, and I'm trying to stay on top of what's going on. And if I ever get back into the groove of daily rants or Sunday video updates, I will keep everyone updated on what's going on, health wise. But yeah, nothing really exciting going on. But I did have an ultrasound. I had to get some labs done to check my thyroid and all that stuff. I haven't heard anything back on that. Um, I'm sure if there was an issue, the doctor would bring it to my attention, but he hasn't. So I'm not going to say a word. I'm not going to say a thing. Nobody's watching. They probably don't know that I'm live. I should probably share the link on my Facebook. But yeah, I just been my Facebook is under tight lock and key because of the trolls, and they like to spread gossip and whatever. They're still up to no good doing that stupid shit. Um, they have no life. I don't know what to tell them. Um, but it's been rough, man. It's been really hard. Everything just it's hitting me one right after the other. I lose my mom, and we almost lost our house, and had issues with some other people out in Arizona. And it's always something. It's always something. But the I'm more focused on I just lost mom, and I'm trying to cope with that. Those other people, they're just stupid. I mean, if you can't go by your own experience and you're going by what other people tell you when there's no evidence. See, this is one of the things that I talk about a lot, or have talked about a lot in the past, is that this particular demographic of people, they are familiar with acronyms, especially NED, no evidence of disease. The important word in that acronym is evidence. How do you throw that out when it comes to gossip and rumors? Don't you think evidence would be just as much important to clarify a rumor or to verify that what you're being told is true? Don't you think there would be some kind of evidence required for a claim? That's what I would think. How is that any different from evidence for a disease. Gossip, metaphorically, is a disease, and it spreads fast because bad news always travels fast. I'm convinced that bad news travels faster than the speed of light. I mean, that's with social media, especially. Um, it's just they're not equipped to know when they're being duped, when they're being lied to. They don't have the knowledge to sniff out the skullduggery or the chicanery from people who are being deceptive, purposely being deceptive. They don't understand how syllogisms work. They don't understand anything that requires thought. They don't understand it. And so I've spent a colossal amount of time trying to educate and school people on how not what to think, but how to think. But people only hear what they wanna hear, I'm convinced of that. They only hear what they wanna hear because it's befitting of the narrative that they already have about me or the thoughts that they already have about me. All this gossip, "Well, it sounds about right. I mean, look at him. He's not the most attractive guy." Well, what the fuck does looks have to do with what a person does or doesn't do? There's a lot of good-looking people who do horrendous shit every fucking day. Looks are irrelevant to actions. I thought everybody knew that, but apparently, um, they don't because we still have people who operate under high school mentality. And my dogs want let in, so I'm being interrupted and pulled away one more time. I'll be right back. Come on. Come on, boys. Thanks for interrupting me, bud. Appreciate it. But I'd rather you pee outside than on the floor. Get out of there. Move. Move, buddy. Move. Please. Okay, I'm back. So, but anyway, yeah, it's the idea that people don't know how to think. And when you have to be when you it's like you can't see the hypocrisy that's going on in your logic. You can't see that. I've spotted it out any number of times in any number of ways and you still can't see it? Or are you just being ignorant and you only see what you want to see and hear what you want to hear? Which I think is, you know, the case in most situations. There's just people who had some kind of weird thought about me anyway, and then they have someone lying, thinking that their suspicions have been confirmed, and they've been lied to because it doesn't confirm anything. They haven't demonstrated with proof or evidence that what they're saying is true. I don't know why it's so hard to understand. But in any event, I've actually been here for almost an hour. It feels like a Sunday video update on a Saturday night. That's what it feels like. But I wanted to come on and just kind of talk about things and get a lot of things out into the open. And to the person who's watching this, because I told them that I would be going live, um, they're going to watch the replay of this and they're going to know that I'm talking about them, but in a good way. I'm not bashing or belittling or anything like that. Because like I said, after mom's death, it really opened my eyes to a lot of different things. It just made me perk up. And it's like, you know what? I just don't want to fucking fight anymore. I just don't want to fight with people. I know I've said some things in the past that weren't nice, but that's only in response to the people who have um they've been horrible to me. I mean, I give what I'm given. That's the way things work in life. And I try to be good to everybody, but they don't really leave me much wiggle room to be nice to them. I'm generally a good person. I do my best every day. I try not to hurt people. I don't like to hurt people. It happens on occasion. I might behave in a way or say something in a way that someone would take offensive. Um, and it's not done purposely. I I just got so much going in my head that I don't realize it until after the fact, until it's too late. But the good thing is that I usually catch it later on, or I think about it for a while, and it's like, "You know what? I really should owe that person an apology because my behavior was way out of line." It's like, the other night we were out at Marion Springs store. For those of you who are familiar with Marion Springs, it's in the western part of Saginaw County. It's in a little quaint, remote location in the county. It's a gas station in the middle of nowhere, and there's a park and a bar and a church. Um, so I stopped in there the other night to get gas, and I told the clerk, I said, "I need $10 in gas." Well, Dad and I got to talking, and then I proceeded to the door not thinking, gotta pay the clerk, and she says, "Hey, you gonna give me my money?" She was kinda, I mean, she was snobby about it, but I understand. I understand why. So I took the money out, threw it on the counter, walked out the door, and it's like, "Wow, she was really fucking rude." But I get it. After I got home, I thought about it. It's like, you know what? Marion Springs is in the middle of nowhere. They probably had a lot of armed robberies. They've had a lot of drive-offs. They probably had all kinds of shit going on there over the years. It may have raised her anxiety thinking, "Oh, this guy is not gonna pay for his gas." I had every intention to pay for my gas. I just had a brain fart. I just wasn't thinking like, "Fuck, of course I'm supposed to pay for my gas." However, she has the power to turn off the pump for non-payment. So, even if I didn't even if I walked out and didn't pay, she would still have the power to turn off the pump. Um, but she was kinda rude, and it's like, she was really fucking rude. But later on that night when I got home, it was just kinda playing over and over and over in my head. It's like, "Jerry Bear, you're overthinking this, but maybe there was a reason she responded in the way that she responded. Maybe she's had some bad experiences. Maybe there was a customer before us that started a fire, and we felt the burn from the fire that some other customer started. I don't know." So I had to overthink this a little bit, and it's like, maybe she was just having a bad night. Maybe someone tipped her off and got her upset about something, or maybe she's had drive-offs, or maybe she was held up at gunpoint at some time or whatever. I don't know. But I didn't want her to think that, well, I can just get gas for free because I had every intention of paying. It was my last $10. Um, but after I talked with Dad, I said, maybe she just had a bad day. Maybe she just had a bad experience with another customer. I shouldn't have reacted in the way I did, by saying, whatever, piss off, old lady. Um, but maybe she, like I said, something probably happened before we got there, and I don't know what it was, and I'm not gonna pretend that I know, but I thought about it, and it's like, well, I don't wanna be rude. I mean, maybe she was just having a bad day, It happens, we all have bad days. And we're not perfect, but we try to improve. When we realize we've done wrong, hey, you know, um, let me apologize, let me offer up a sincere apology, let's make amends, let's mend the fences, let's try to get along and carry on and be responsible adults. And this is what happened with this individual, that I've spoken sorely about, in daily rants and on my video updates and everything else. But I decided to put an end to it after mom died because, like I said, it was just, mom's death had really put into perspective, "Hey, nobody's getting any younger, and I'm just tired of fucking fighting. It's stupid." And it was nice to have the conversation with that individual on the phone today. So thank you for that. I know you're watching. Thank you. Um, and we'll have more conversations in the future on the phone, email, text, whatever suits you. But it was one of those moments when I had to really think about the consequences of, hey, this life is short. Try to make amends with people. And I thought of this guy, and it's like, well, I have said a lot of hurtful things and horrible things about him over the years. He said a lot of hurtful, horrible things about me. We offered up apologies, and we said, "Hey, I'm sorry that I acted like a jerk." And we kind of did that little exchange, which was fine. But um, I think we're making some headway here on a friendship. I'm not going to put the name out, and don't ask me for the name because I'm not going to give you his fucking name. The only thing that matters is that it's between me and this individual. That's all you need to know as a viewer. If you're not a part of this argument or this conversation, that's all you need to know is that I am making amends with someone that I've had feuds with before, and I just want to make it right. Some people, um, there are some people that there's just no hope. They have, I mean, they're without excuse. When they were going back and telling the trolls, they were relaying information to the trolls so the trolls could fuck with the people that I communicate with. And then they have the temerity to come at me and say, "Hey, Jared, I'm sorry for your mom dying. You know what? I don't really even give a fuck what you think. I don't want your condolences. You can take them and shove them up your fucking ass. I don't need them. You stab me in the back. I have no use for people like you. And if you're watching this, you know who you are. I don't need to say your name either. Um, because I just don't need that in my life. I don't. I just don't need it. I lost my mom. This is not an opportunity for people like that, people who are traitors and betrayed me and double crossed me. The occasion of my mom's death is not the time to be trying to make amends with me because I'm going to tell you to fuck right off into purple oblivion and don't ever contact me again. Now, this individual that I had contacted, we had been feuding for a very long time, and it's like, you know what? I really don't want to fight with this guy anymore. I just don't want to. It's stupid. It's pointless. Maybe I was being too overly critical of the person without actually knowing the tidbits and the details and the gist of what's really going on. Why this person does what he does. And I'm more than happy to admit when I'm wrong or when I've been overly critical of someone. But the truth is, fact of the matter, is that I've had a lot of people be overly critical of me. They've been wrong about me many fucking times. And I don't see any of those people coming forward and saying, "Hey, man, I'm sorry that I thought you were this bad person. I was a fool for believing what all these people were saying. I didn't actually get to know you for you. I let other people dictate my view and my outlook about you. I've gotten to know you, and you seem like a pretty cool guy. You're harmless. You wouldn't do any of the things that you were accused of. Of course not. What better way to demonstrate that than to be the opposite of what I'm being accused of? Because it's just not in me to behave in the way that I'm being accused of. Um, that is your evidence. And it's not to be spiteful of anybody. I'm just genuinely and naturally not that kind of a person. Um, like I said, I'm not perfect. I've made plenty of mistakes over the years, and I'm trying to um, make amends with people. And I know I've been rough around the edges with some people in my chat logs here on my YouTube channel. Um, but honesty is important. If I don't understand what you're saying, I'm going to call you out on it. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I did this in the last Sunday video. It was actually a friend of mine from Canada. She was it's like she was being incoherent. I'm not trying to make fun of her in any way, but she was kind of being incoherent in her messages. And I said, "Well, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but continue, you know." And I wasn't trying to be mean about it, but when something doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't make sense. And I call them out. It's like, "You're not making any sense. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." And they were kind of getting a little fiery with me in the comments, saying, "Well, you're just taking the spotlight." What spotlight? You're on my channel. I didn't tell you to come to my channel. You came here on your own volition. So I don't know what the fuck spotlight you're talking about. but this is my channel, and I know that people come here to watch and listen, and if they do, they do, if they don't, they don't. I'm still here. And there are some videos that people will watch on playback that was recorded years ago on this channel, and they'll say, "Yeah, I remember that video you when you said, you brought up the topics about A, B, and C." And it's like, "Well, refresh my memory. What did I say?" And then they'll kind of, rejuvenate my memory, and it's like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, I remember talking about that. I remember doing a video about that. Sure." Uh, the most recent video I had recorded, I'm singing the Armored Hot Dog song. I just got bored. I was just trying to, lighten up the mood of the channel and post a video of me singing the Armored Hot Dog song. Uh, I just lost my mom, and I'm just trying to laugh and be funny and to cope with that 'cause, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy at all. But, as for tonight, I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. Um, I'm home alone. I'm home alone, and I'm actually enjoying the time that I have here doing the Sunday video updates. This is not a Sunday video update, though. This is a encore presentation of a Sunday video update on a Saturday night. But I have enjoyed, um, doing the live streams, and people in public even they'll say, "Hey, I watch your live streams every Sunday, and, I listen to you speak. There's some things you say that really, you make a lot of sense, and you're honest, and you're forthright, and you're not trying to bullshit people." Well, that's the plan. I mean, I'm not here to bullshit anybody, but I don't have a problem calling out the bullshit. And, I've done that. I've done my fair share of calling out the bullshit, and I'll continue for as long as the day is long, because I don't like dishonesty. I don't like dishonest people. And if you're going to lie to people to get them to hate me for whatever reason, they have no legitimate reason to hate me. They just go by what someone else said. Um, then that's on you. You're going to have to sort that out because I'm going to continue on with my life and do what I do. And not everything I do in the world makes it to Facebook. It doesn't make it to YouTube. It doesn't make it to anybody except for the person or people I'm helping. Um, and that's just as genuine and true and real and raw as it gets. But anyway, because there's no one watching and no one's in my chat log, I've been keeping an eye on things a little bit. I've been here for about a little over an hour. I gotta squint my eyes. I actually don't mind going over an hour. It's time that, uh, you know, I was due for a live stream on this channel for quite a long time, and I just been so fucking busy with everything, and life has been hectic and crazy and just weird. Um, People want to know how I'm getting along with my brother. Well, before mom died, we were at each other's throats. And that's the reason behind some of the court cases, the court dates and everything. But now that mom's gone, we've been getting along. It's been, it's actually been pleasant. And I'm pleasantly surprised that we're getting along as brothers should and not fight and not, um, you know, not be at each other's throats all the time. But and I'm not here to, belittle or to put down my brother, but, sometimes when you're being unreasonable about something, someone's gotta stop you in your tracks and say, "Hey, that's not how it is, this is how it is." Um, and not turn it into an argument when we're not trying to be argumentative, we're just trying to tell you, "Hey, that's how it is." Not everything has to be an argument. and I that's not my scope, that's not my hopes or my intuition, but I have to be honest, and sometimes honesty is a motherfucker because nobody likes honesty. Not in the way that they don't benefit. Um, I don't like honesty in the sense that my mom is honestly gone forever. I don't like that kind of honesty. I don't like that kind of reality, but that's the way it is. I can't change it. Um, I have the memories. I can still hear her laugh. I can hear her voice. I can see her facial expressions. Um, I've got all those memories of my mom, and like I said earlier, my mom, when she was in hospice care, she had a Kleenex. She would hold a Kleenex in her bed all the time. Well, instead of throwing that away, I kept it. And every day I'll hold it up and I'll smell it because it's got mom's scent on it. And I say, "Hi, mama." It's kind of a refresher to me and it helps. Um, but I do struggle. I am struggling a lot with losing my mom. It's shitty. It's very shitty. And I'm just taking it one day at a time, and I'm trying to stay on top of taking my medication. I know a lot of people will use that against me. Oh, well, yeah, Jared takes nut medication. Well, you know what? How fucking dare you refer to it as that? And secondly, there's nothing wrong with taking medication. I personally don't like to take it because my entire life has been comprised of medicine, from chemotherapy down to a fucking cough medicine, a cough syrup, and everything else in between. I don't like to take medicine. I'm 37 years old. I want to live my life where I don't have to take medicine, but that's not the case, unfortunately. Talk about not liking the truth. The truth is, I have to take depression medicine. I don't like it, but it has to be done. That is the truth. Because depression it's a son of a bitch. It is a son of a bitch when you are trying to carry everything on your shoulders, the weight of everything going on. It's a wonder that I haven't checked myself into like a crisis home or a hospital because of everything I've been through in the last year, year and a half. It's like I'm surprised that I haven't lost my mind yet. I just got to keep it together. I have to the best I can. Now I'm having issues with my car. I had to go and buy a lower control arm for my Trailblazer. Had to buy see, it was a lower control arm, and I don't remember the other part that I bought. It'll come to me after I end the live stream, but I had to get a couple of parts for my car because it's actually dangerous to drive. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know anything about that stuff, but I know the lower control arm was one of them. I think I had to get a wheel bearing too, maybe? Is that what I got? A wheel bearing? Fuck, I don't know. I can't remember. But um yeah, I mean, there's been a lot going on and I'm just doing the best I can. I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody, although I know I am to a lot of people. Can't help it. It is what it is, as the kids say. But if you really take the time to get to know me, I'm an all right dude. I don't ask for much out of this life. I just want to be happy. I want to, have friends. I want to get through my life and live the way I should. I want to live comfortably, but um, there are people out there who they make it a mission to try to make me out to be some bad guy. And I feel really bad for those people because, it's like, get a life, get a life. I got enough to deal with, and I'm gonna grieve over my mom for a very long time. I know that. I mean, this is gonna be the first Thanksgiving, the first Christmas without mom. I've already cried about that. I was out at Bronner's in Frankenmuth just recently, and I was walking around and noticing the Christmas trees and the decorations and all the kids walking around getting excited, to see Santa Claus, and it made me think, "Wow, I'm never gonna have another Christmas with my mom. I'm never gonna have another Thanksgiving or even a Mother's Day," which it's why I despise Mother's Day and Father's Day so much. It's not so much the fact that I don't love my parents, I do, and that's why I despise Mother's Day and Father's Day because of the sentiment. Uh, and when you don't have your mom and dad, those holidays are pretty fucking pointless. Um, and I understand the brutal reality of losing a parent. Now I understand it, and it fucking sucks, man. It sucks big time. And I've kind of been in this trope where I tell people, if you have your mom and dad, just tell them every day you love them because I can't tell my mom anymore. My mom's gone. My mama's gone. And I could tell her I love her, but she'll never be able to tell me she loves me back. Maybe in my dreams, because my subconscious is always constantly thinking about her. So she will, come to me in my dreams and she'll tell me she loves me or whatever, but it's not the same thing as living in a physical world where um, you have these people. My mama's gone. She's not a part of this physical world anymore. And I miss her terribly. I miss her terribly. I don't want to put words in Jay's mouth because I can't speak for him. He can speak for himself. Um, but as for me, I struggle with it in ways that people don't think or people don't know. And they look at me and think, well, Jared, he's taking it okay. He's smiling, he's laughing, he's having a good time. Maybe I'm smiling and laughing and having a good time to mask the pain of what I feel. Because if I sit and think about it for hours and hours and days at a time, I'm gonna be a nervous fucking wreck, and I don't want that to happen. I gotta be strong for me because that's how mom would want it. I have to be strong for my brother. I gotta be strong for my dad. I just gotta be strong. I gotta be strong more for myself. I have to be strong. Um, I don't know. I look at it in a lot of various different ways. I have my memories with my mom, and there were a lot of good times. There were a lot of not so good times. Um, but I think of it too, and I know this is might not be one way of looking at it, but this is how I look at it. Yes, death is a part of life, and it it, it happens every day. Someone dies, and I don't want to just shrug it off as, oh, it's just my mom died, no big deal. Well, it's a huge deal. I mean, it's a very big deal to me. It's mom. As this person that I talked to pointed out today on the phone, he says, "Well, mom, she wiped your ass for all those years. She wiped your nose, she wiped your ass. Well, you're also forgetting she cleaned out my chemo port. She made sure my port was disinfected. Um, she did it all. She did it all, and now she's gone. And it's not easy. It's not. They say time heals. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it to me. Maybe not heals, but it might I mean, over time, it might be easier to manage the grief and the mourning and the pain of losing mom. As time progresses, it might be easier to manage. I can look back and I can say, "Yeah, I remember that time when mom did this and mom did that." And yeah, I miss mom, you know. I miss her, but what can you do? It's just the way things go. Um And that's kinda how I hope that it'll get to that point where I can just say, "It sucks, I miss mom, but she would want me to get on with my life, and that's what I'm doing." Where it won't be and every day I wake up crying and I cry myself to sleep kind of a situation. I just wanna wake up, I wanna get have a cup of coffee, I wanna take on the day, I wanna print off a letter to a cancer warrior, I wanna visit with friends and family. It's amazing to me though, and this was something else I was gonna talk about. It's amazing to me how after my mom dies, all of my relatives on my mom's side start coming out of the woodwork. They wanna be buddy buddy with me, they send me friend requests. It's like, where the fuck were you people before my mom got sick? I would have loved to have that relationship with you then, way before mom got sick. I've got a lot of relatives, cousins on my mom's side on my Facebook, which is good. I'm not complaining. But my question is, where the fuck were you guys way before mom was diagnosed with cancer? There were lots of cousins I didn't speak with because of their behaviors and the way they conducted their lifestyles, not something that I would find appropriate. And I don't want to put too much out there because I don't want to get into the detail. But they conduct their lives in a way that is not healthy and it's not appropriate. And there's a lot of people that even my mom, her nieces and nephews, that she just wanted nothing to do with them. She disowned a lot of them. And as a cousin, I've disowned a lot of them as well because of how they conduct their lives. I don't want to talk to a lot of people on my mom's side. There's people on my dad's side I would prefer not to speak to. But now that mom's gone, it was an eye opener for me because while there may be people that I don't wish to communicate with, and I still am within my rights to not communicate, the lesson is that life is short. We're all on borrowed time, and I said this at mom's funeral. We're all on borrowed time. I stood up in front of a crowd of people, nervous as shit, and we're all on borrowed time. That was one of the things I said in my little ad-libbed speech at mom's funeral. Everybody complimented me and said, "Well, you did a great job with the speech." They said, I wouldn't have the guts or the balls to get up in front of people like that. But I did it. I didn't do it for me. I did it for mom. One of her kids got up in front of the crowd, and I didn't look directly at those people. So that's something I have to work on if I'm ever going to be an actual orator someday, a public speaker. So I have to look upon the crowd and I have to look out and turn my head and notice everybody. And I did a few times. So it wasn't a total waste of a speech, but everybody heard me. And I mentioned something about the sewing wizard at mom's funeral. This is a true story. When we lived on Chapin Road, I was probably 4 or 5 years old at the time. It was after cancer, and we had this big we had this big dining room. Sounds like one of the dogs got sick. Anyway, we had this big dining room at the farmhouse, and we had checkered floors. And when you walk from the living room to the dining room, there was an archway that you walk through, and from the dining room to the kitchen, there's another archway. Well, mom had my grandma's sewing machine, and she was sitting at the dining room table. I forget what she was sewing, or she was just, fixing something that needed sewn together. She might have been making a baby blanket or a quilt or something because she always loved to do that. Um, but I'm sitting at the dining room table. I'm probably 4 or 5 years old. I'm just a little guy. I'm watching mom go to town on the sewing machine. She puts the fabric up to the thing, and it starts going, it goes up and down real fast. And I'm checking out the sewing machine like, how does that thing know when mom has the fabric up there? Is there like a sensor or what, what's going on here? How does that sewing machine know? And I asked mom, I said, and she says, "What are you looking at?" I said, "How does that machine know when you're doing that?" She says, "Well, I'll tell you, son, it's a sewing wizard." Being 5 years old, what the hell? You're gonna believe anything your parents tell you. So, I kinda sit back in my chair, and I'm taking it all in, trying to figure this out. A sewing wizard. I look down under the table, and my mom has got her foot on the pedal. It's like, "Sewing wizard, huh?" And I kinda just crossed my arms like, "Sewing wizard, huh?" Hey, stop. Dogs are acting funny. Quit growling, will you? Be good. But I'm thinking to myself, sewing wizard, huh? Yeah. Thanks, mom. Thanks, ma. Yeah, yeah. I miss her. I miss her so much. The conversations we used to have on the phone, we would laugh for hours. We would cry for minutes. We would talk about TV shows that we liked, like the Golden Girls and just random stuff that we enjoyed, like Roseanne, the TV show Roseanne, because Roseanne reminds me so much of mom, and I think that's why I love watching Roseanne. Because my mom and Roseanne were alike in many ways, although my mom didn't sing the national anthem and grab herself and spit on the ground. I don't think my mom would have done that, or would she have? No, no, she would. What's wrong with you? Huh? Straighten up, guys. But yeah, there's just things, little things like that that would remind me of my mom to a T. You okay, Bart? Huh? But yeah, and I remember those conversations, and I remember she would talk to my dad on my phone, and she'd say, "Hey, old timer, hey, old man, you old brat." Dad'd say, "Hey, Ray, how you doing?" "Doing okay." And she'd say, I remember she told my dad, she says, "Can you believe we made it this far in our lives? We made it to our 60s. Can you believe that?" And she did. She lived to be 61. They gave her a week and she lived 2 weeks. Um, and what I like, and this is another way of looking at this mom's passing, is that my mom didn't die on doctor's terms. She didn't die on cancer's terms. She died on her terms. She knew that she was ready to go. Will you stop? Scruffy, stop. But anyway, she died on her terms. And she knew that her time was coming. I mean, she told me that. Long before she lost her ability to speak, she looked at me and she says, "I'm dying, son. I'm dying." And she knew. She knew it was a matter of time. Um, and I can't get that out of my head. Just I was there when she took her last breath and her eyes were wide open because she was taking morphine every 4 hours or as needed. So she was constantly um doped up on the morphine, and they had her heavily sedated all the time around the clock, and she slept most of the time. Um there was even a time when she was actually determined to get out of her bed, and I said, "Where do you think you're going, ma? You can't walk. You haven't been out of this bed in weeks." And she says, "Bullshit." She says, "I'm getting out of this bed and I'm going to the bathroom." I said, "You can't, ma. You can't." And she looked at me and she says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You can't. You can't walk, mama. You're in hospice care. You can't walk, honey. You've been bedridden for a long time now. You can't do it." She says, "Bullshit. Watch me." I said, "If you try to get out of that bed, I'm going to get a nurse." And she actually got pissed at me. She says, "Oh, for fuck's sakes." Well, tough, ma. I love you, but you can get mad at me all you want, but I am not letting you get out of that bed. And she was wearing a brief, so they would come in and change her. She would soil herself. They would come in and change her. They wipe her down, give her a bath. They took very good care of my mom at Woodland Hospice. Very good care. Just sweethearts up there, beautiful girls up there. I mean, they're amazing people. I love them. And um, but she was determined to get out of her bed. She says, "Bullshit, I'm getting out of this bed and I'm going to the bathroom." And she says, "And when I'm done, we're getting out of here." I said, "Really?" I said, "Where are we going?" She says, "You got a trailblazer." It's like, "Ma, I'm sorry, honey. That's just not gonna happen." And she actually got pissed off at me, but that's okay. That's alright. She wasn't in the right state of mind, and the medications had her so fucked up that she forgot where she was, and she says, "You brought me here in your trailblazer," and I said, "No, no, honey." I said, "You came here by ambulance, mama. I didn't bring you here. The ambulance brought you here." And she just kinda laid back and she looked up at the ceiling like, "Whatever." Like, she was getting annoyed, but I it wasn't a legitimate being annoyed, it was the medication that made her hallucinate, and she was saying things like she told me to let the cat out, and it's like, "What cat?" She says, "A cat under the fucking bed. Let the cat out." I said, "Mom, there's no cat. There's no cat." She says, "Are you sure?" I said, "Honey, I'm positive." I said, "There's no cat under your bed." She's like, "Alright, whatever." Then she went to sleep. Um, should I have played along with that? I don't know. I thought I handled it the best way I saw fit. Um, I'm not gonna make her think that something is happening when in fact it isn't. Um, because someone says, "Well, you're supposed to play along with that." Well, who are you to tell me what the fuck to do? You weren't there. You don't tell me what I'm supposed to do. You weren't in my situation to tell me. You weren't there to help me. You weren't sitting there. So you have no position to tell me how you would have done it because it's not you. It was me. And there were some people who came in. I wasn't really thrilled about them being with my mom, and they were told that they're not allowed back. I'm sitting there, I'm sitting at bedside, and this really makes me sick even just fucking bringing this up. I'm sitting at bedside with mom. I'm holding her hand, I'm caressing her hand with my thumb, and I'm watching because she liked to watch, she loved Perry Mason and Rawhide and Wagon Train and all the westerns, Gunsmoke and Bonanza and all those. And I'm watching westerns and all the old shows, Andy Griffith, and some people came in and they didn't say, "Hey, Jared. Hello, Ramon." They didn't say that. They said, "When your mom," they looked right at me and said, "When your mom dies, I want this in the casket with her." My mom could still hear. She may not have been able to speak clearly, but she could fucking hear. And for that, I did not put that in the casket with her. The plush animal stayed, and that's what it was. "Well, when your mom dies, make sure this goes in the casket." You know what? Now I don't care. Because you could have, first of all, you could have at least said, "Hey, Jared, how's it going?" Or "Hi, Aunt Ramon," or whatever. The first thing that came out of your mouth should have been a hello, a salutation of some kind, not, "Well, when she dies, I want this in the casket." You know what? Fuck you. It didn't go in the casket, and I was really pissed, and I told the lady up front, I said, "I don't want them back here." After that little incident that they pulled, no, they're not allowed back. And I said, I'll be the biggest prick in this place." I said, "I don't want certain people around my mom." And there was a lady up there, a young girl, she's just a sweetheart. She says, "Well, I'll be a bitch, when it comes to your mom, I'll be the biggest bitch there is." She says, "I won't let anybody come into the room that you don't want. They can hate me and I don't care." And I said, "Well," I said, "I appreciate that. It's a kind gesture." I said, "But, you know, because I can't be there around the clock. So someone has to be there to keep an eye on mom." And I said, "So, but when I'm here," I said, "I don't care if they hate me or if they don't. I have 0 fucks to give. I'm bankrupt on fucks to give." And she laughed about it because of how I phrased it. Bankrupt on fucks to give. That's kind of funny. Um, but I was then and I still am. Now that mom's gone, I still to this day have 0 fucks to give. But I try to be respectful. Um, because there's nothing that I can say or do that's ever gonna bring my mom back. She's gone. She's at peace now, and again, she would want me to go on living my life and not wallow in grief forever. Um, but it is weird that she's gone. It doesn't seem like it's real. Like my mind won't accept what my heart knows, and vice versa. My heart won't accept what my mind knows. Um, but I have to. Because there's just no other way. I have to accept it. Um, but yeah, it was rough going up there and seeing her like that. And a lot of people they couldn't bring themselves to actually physically go and see Ma because of the condition that she was in. And it's understood, I'm not gonna give anyone a hard time. I mean, there were a lot of people who didn't make it to Mom's funeral, which kind of upset me at first, but then I thought to myself, maybe they just wanted to remember Mom when she wasn't sick. Because I'm telling you, my mom had this profound impact on so many people, more people than I would have ever imagined. I mean, her principal went to her viewing. Mr. Valentine went to my mom's viewing, and he was a principal back in the 70s when my mom was in school. And a lifelong, we consider him family. His name is Joel Thomason. And he says, I've known your mom since she was 14 years old. And my mom was 14 years old in 1976 because my dad was 18 in 1976. So, yeah, I mean, it's I love hearing the stories, the memories that people have of my mom from way, years ago. A friend of mine, of my mom's, and I can, Janet has always been a sweet friend of my mom's. She has known my mom since 1965. My mom was 3 years old in 1965, and Janet and mom go back all the way to 1965. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I love listening to the stories, and I love sharing with people, on Facebook, like, "Oh, I heard the story today," a memory that someone had of my mom. Here's one that might, uh, because it caught my attention. So there's a guy the guy who owns Weigel's Nursery in Chesting. His name is Scott Weigel. I've known him my whole life. Mom and dad used to work at Weigel's Nursery when I was a kid. Well, Scott was telling me a story about mom when they were in junior high together. It was the very first day of junior high. Some girl was talking shit about my mom, and mom had a handful of books. Mom sat the books down in the hallway, walked up to the girl, drilled her in her face, knocked her out. She did it in front of a teacher. And mom says to the teacher, "You don't have to say anything. I'm headed there right now." She picks up her books and walks herself to the principal's office. That was mom. uh, yeah. So when Scott told me that, it's like, no shit, mom did that. Oh yeah. He says, oh yeah, I remember it like it happened just yesterday. And it's like, holy shit, man. That's cool shit. I mean, it's not, violence isn't cool, but it's like, wow, what a story. What a story. Uh, that I laughed. I mean, wow. If someone's gonna, that was mom. If someone's gonna talk shit, she's gonna let you know. She's not gonna put up with it. Um, but yeah, it's the stories and the memories that people have of my mom from yesteryear. I mean, it's incredible to listen to the stories that people have, and I always welcome that. Like if you're friends with me on Facebook and you're watching this, and if you have any fond memories of my mom, please share them with me. Hit me up in Messenger, call me, text me, do whatever, email me if you can. I'm interested in hearing these stories that and memories that you have of my mom. I mean, my mom told me when she was in high school, back in the late 70s, she would actually smoke in the hallway, and she'd put the cigarette out in the hallway. I mean, she had that rebel side to her. She She was the last of 17 kids, my mom was. My grandma had a lot of children, but mom was the last to be born, and she was the last to die. And someone mentioned to me, about the natural order of things. You know what, Dear Bear? That's how it should be. Your grandma dies, then or your grandparents die, then your parents die, then you die, and so on. That's how it should be. Which I agree. I agree with that. However, I just feel that mom had at least 20 more good years to be here, to at least live in her 80s. Because, I mean, I think about this too. All my mom's brothers and sisters didn't live very long. They don't live very long, and it has me kind of on edge because my grandma was 61 when she died. Mom was 61 when she died. So now with me being 37, do I have another 24, 25 good years left? That kinda makes me think, you know? It kinda scares the shit out of me, in a way, because I don't want my life to end that quickly. But it's gotta end eventually. I just hope it's not anytime soon. I hope I can surpass that and live beyond, because my dad's 65. Um, I would like to live to be into my 80s or my 90s or whatever. If I can, not saying I will, but if I can, I would like to live at least to be 80, 90 years old. I'm gonna be 40 in a few years. Shit, I have another 40, 50 good years, hopefully. Um, because there's places I wanna go, people I wanna see, things I wanna do. There's a lot of people that I've only ever talked to on Facebook. We haven't met physically in person, and I'd like to. I'd like to make that a reality. But it's gonna take time and money and, um, it's just, it's one of those things where when someone dies, it makes you think about life and, like, really, how much time do I have? Like, today, dad and I went out to, Leighton Corners to get those parts for my Trailblazer, and we had lunch at the Junction of Hope, and there's a lady who goes out there frequently. She's gonna be 90 years old next month, and I told her, I said, "Well, I'm just thankful to be alive another day," and she says, "Oh, you're still young." I said, "Well, death is indiscriminate when it comes to age," and she says, "Yeah, don't think about that." Well, I'm 37 years old. I was thinking about this shit when I was 15. I mean, am I gonna live to be in my teens, in my 20s, 30s? Well, I'm gonna be 40 in a few years. Um, so I must be doing something right, but it's never about age, it's about longevity. Like, how many years do I actually have? Mom died at 61, grandma died at 61. Is this something that, will I die prematurely as a result of something that's hereditary or genetic on my mom's side of the family? Or will I surpass 61 and live well into my 80s like Grandpa Fuller did before he died, before he passed away? It's things that I think about. It's not so much the age as it is the longevity for me. And I know it doesn't really make sense, but when you think about it, I mean, age is just a number. It's the longevity that I'm focused on. Like, how many years do I have? Good years. But I've been here for nearly 2 hours, about an hour and 45 minutes. This is the longest I've ever been on a live. Um, just sitting here talking about random shit. Um, I don't really promote this YouTube channel a lot on my Facebook because of all the daily rants and all the swearing and all that shit. Uh, but For those of you who know about this channel, yeah, it's still active, very active, and I, I'm just having fun and just kind of randomly talking about things because I haven't done this in such a long time. And it's a Saturday night, which I have nothing or actually, no, this is a Friday night. What am I shit, I'm a day ahead. I've been saying this is a Saturday night. No, this is Friday night. Wow, see? It's I'm getting older. I'm forgetting days of the week. No, I have a lot of shit on my plate right now. A lot of shit. Um, as a matter of fact, I think I even dated this Saturday, November 10th. I'm such a moron. Oh god. Hell yeah, I did. I put Saturday. Good grief. Today's Friday. Fuck. I can change that. I can change it. 1 second, folks. 1 second. I think I can change that. Uh, oh, I didn't put the date. Okay. But I can change the thumbnail. I can change the thumbnail. Um, where is that thumbnail? I'm going to change that because I fucked it up. I actually fucked it up. Give me 1 second, guys. I put Saturday. No. No, it's actually Friday. It's Friday, Jerry Bear. Get with the program, dude. All right. I'm gonna change the November 10th, 2023. It's a good thing I didn't put the date on the video title, but I can change the thumbnail. Friday, November 10th. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, save that. I might have to do that after I am done with the live stream. I'll have to update the thumbnail. I fucked up. I put Saturday. Today's actually Friday. How did I not know that today was Friday? For crying out loud, I just watched SmackDown. I mean, Jesus Christ. How could I have gotten the day wrong? Like I said, folks, like I said, I got a lot on my mind right now, a lot on my plate, and I'm just not thinking clearly because I thought today was Saturday and it's actually Friday. So, yeah, I've been here for almost 2 hours. It's the longest I've done it's not a daily rant. I almost said daily rant. It's actually just a live stream, just an encore presentation of a Sunday video update. Um, yeah, a lot of people don't know I'm here, but they'll see the playback. I should actually share the link on my Facebook. But I don't know. I think it's fine just the way it is. I don't have to share the link on my Facebook. Somebody else will share the link. Um, but yeah, so there's been some stuff going on, and I'm working through the grieving in the morning with my mom, the mourning process and the grieving and everything. Um, I'm still in mourning. I will be for quite some time, and there's just no way around that. I mean, I have to deal with that. I have to face it. I have to accept it. I have to go through the emotions. I don't want to drink because once I get drunk, and this has already happened, once I get drunk, I'll start thinking about mom, and then I'll just be a slobbering, messy, hypersensitive, over dramatic drunk. I don't want that. I did that at McFarland's Pub in Chesaning already. A good friend of ours named Bob Elliott, he was sitting up at the bar, and it was me and dad and my brother Jay and my brother Wayne, and we all had a beer. They were playing pool. I got fucked up. Started out drinking at the back 40. Then we went to little bar in Oakley, but they were closed. So then from there we went to McFarland's back in Chesaning, and I had a buzz going. I was feeling good, and I got really fucked up. And I don't remember half the shit I said, but I remember crying on Bob Elliott, and I'm sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to cry. He says, buddy, he says, I lost my wife. He says, you don't have to apologize. He says, you just lost your mom. He says, you don't need to apologize to me for shit. He says, "Let's drink to mom. This is to mom." And we clinked our bottles. I said, "You're a good man, Bob." I remember saying that. And he says, "Well, you're a good man, Jared." He says, "It's gonna get better, buddy." He says, "You just be strong and just hang in there." He says, "It'll get better. You'll have your days, you'll have your moments, but mom's not in pain anymore. And you gotta just keep telling yourself that mom's not hurting anymore." I do. I do. But it's not easy. It's not easy. But I learned to cope because what other choice do I have? I can't pretend that it didn't happen. Um, I was there when it happened. I was there when she died. I mean, I know it's real. Um, I don't know. It's such a huge loss for me. Mom knows I loved her. She knows that I was there for her. She knows that I did everything I could, although if she were still here, I think she would kick my ass because or she if not kick my ass, she would just give me a verbal shredding because she would tell me, "You don't fucking blame yourself for shit that you had no control over. It was mama's time to go, and that's it. There's nothing you're gonna do, there's nothing I'm gonna do about it. When it's my time, it's my time." And she did have DNR orders, do not resuscitate. She was ready. She just wanted it to be done. And I wanted it to be done, but it brings me back to the point people make when they say, well, she's in a better place. Well, you don't know that she's in a better place. I don't know that she's in a better place. She doesn't know she's in a better place. She's dead. She can't know where she is or what's going on. She's been cremated. She has no awareness of that whatsoever. So how do you know that she's in a better place? There's no way to prove that. You can't demonstrate that to me. Mom can't demonstrate it. Nobody can demonstrate it. Um, but that's where I straddle the fence when people tell me she's in a better place. I would rather she still be here and healthy and cured. But that was not an option. It wasn't a possibility. Um, I've come to the point where, you know, if death, if it was meant to be where mom would be healed, um, oh my eyes, ooh, if it's meant to be where death would be mom's ultimate healing, then so be it. Then she's healed. She's okay now. She's free and clear. But I miss her like hell. I miss her so much. And I talked to her fiance on occasion, and I talked to him on the phone today. He said he wanted to come down and because he lives up by on the other side of Mount Pleasant. And he says, "Well, I want to come down and have a beer with you and your dad if that's okay." And I said, "Well, sure. Of course you can come down and have a beer. I have no objection to that. Come down and have drink some beer with us. But if you get too fucked up or buzzed where you can't drive, you're gonna crash here at our house. We're gonna take your keys and you're gonna crash. We'll make room for you. It's not a problem. We don't want you driving all the way back when you are intoxicated and clearly uh, not in the best condition to be operating a motor vehicle. We will take the keys without question, without doubt, because we don't want anything to happen to you." But I think he's going to be coming down at some point, and we're going to drink beer at the back 40 and talk about things and discuss situations. Um, we got mom's ashes today because she was cremated, as I said. We went and picked up her ashes today. They're necklaces, little trinkets, and there were 15 of them made, and the rest of the ashes are in a box because there are a lot of ashes. Um, it's just, it's really, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. It's just weird. It's weird that mom is gone. And when dad dies, it's gonna hit me just as hard, if not harder. Um, I don't ever wanna think of losing my parents, but I'm past that now. I have lost a parent. My mom died, and it's the idea of where do we go from here? What do I do? What would mom want me to do? I know mom would want me to be happy. I know she would want me to get on with my life. I know that she would want me to be strong and continue doing the things I do to help other people because she instilled that value into me. I like to think she did, and dad included. Um, she would tell me just to get on with my life, I think. She would say, "Life goes on, son. You gotta get on with your life." Because we had those talks too. I can remember very, very vividly having those conversations. I can almost hear her voice because we talked about that on the phone. I said, "I don't wanna lose you and dad. I don't. I don't wanna lose my parents." And she says, "Honey, we don't want to die." She says, "Do you think we get older to inconvenience our kids?" She says, "Honey, that's just the way it is. There's nothing you're gonna do. There's nothing mom and dad's gonna do about it. There's nothing Jer Bear's gonna do about it. There's nothing Jay's gonna do about it. Death is just a natural part of life. We all have to do it." Um, she says, "But I want you." She told me this. She says, "I want you to get on with your life and just know that mama loves you, and I'll love you even after I'm dead and gone. I'll love you then." And it really touched me. It really touched me. But losing a parent, it opened this door to, like, a new way of looking at things. My perspective had changed again. It shook me. Mom's death had really shaken me, and I think that's why I wanted to make amends with this person that I have berated on this channel, like I said, for a very long time. Um, I don't wanna fight. I don't wanna belittle anymore. I don't wanna be an enemy. I think it's too late for most people because they've already got whatever thought they have in their head of me, or they overthink, or they wanna paint this horrible picture of me and however they see me. And it's unfortunate because now with mom being gone, I'm feeling very generous, and it's like, I should have listened to mom. I should have listened to mom in the sense that you can't go on in life holding grudges. It doesn't do you any good to keep the enemies and to not want to make amends with people. There are people who aren't willing to do that. You could try to talk all the sense in the world to them, they don't give a fuck. They're not gonna even consider the notion of making amends. I got lucky with this individual, because I reached out first. I made the first move. And I said, "Look, I know I'm not somebody you wanna hear from, and I understand that for good reason. I'm not gonna dispute that." I said, "But listen, my mom just died. She had cancer." I said, "And man, I don't wanna fight with you anymore. I just wanna get along. I don't wanna fight. I don't wanna fight. I really and truly want to get along with everybody." And I told him, I said, "If you don't wanna consider, starting a friendship or trying to, just to bury the hatchet and get on with life, I totally understand. I get it, and I don't blame you for not wanting to." But he was pretty receptive to the idea, and, I give him props. I mean, he was very perceptive, or receptive rather, to to the to the option, or, throwing down the gauntlet and saying, "Look, let's bury the hatchet. Let's be men here. Let's quit doing childish shit." And I would like that relationship with everybody in the childhood cancer world. I know that's not possible. Like I said, because people already have this notion that I'm such a horrible person, and the things that I have said on my channel may or may not be forgiven, but they don't consider the way they treated me maybe unforgiven. I may never forgive people for how they threw me under the bus and how they've accused me of things and making fake accounts to try and prove a point that they're just cowards who can't use their actual name. Whoa. Cowards who can't use their actual name and say the shit to my face. Um, at least I come here with my actual face and my true identity. And I have no reason to lie. I'm telling you the fucking truth. This is me. If I was actually hiding something, I wouldn't be sincere in trying to get people to understand that they're being lied to. I wouldn't be sincere. If it was true, I wouldn't have anything to fight. There wouldn't be a fight. It'd be like, well, yeah, that's true. I'm not even going to fight. It's true what they're saying. If it was actually true. But because it's not true, the sincerity is such that I'm saying, hold the fuck on. This didn't happen. And now, because you're claiming it, show some evidence. The lack of evidence is not evidence for something in this case. They are accusing me of something. And when I say show the evidence of the nature of the claim you're making, they can't do it. And that's been the case every single fucking time. Every time ad nauseum. They cannot do it. They fail to demonstrate a case. They can't prove or back up what they are claiming. Now, eventually, are they going to pay the piper, for being the lying, deceitful shitbags they are? Maybe. I don't know. Only time will tell. But I think here, from where I sit, I have done your homework. Those of you listening and watching and been loyal to my channel and to me for all these years, I think I've done the homework for you. I'm not telling you what to think. I am showing you how to think. When someone comes at you with a claim, and if it sounds extraordinary or out of sorts or like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Show me some proof. Show me some evidence. That's when you need to really force that, especially when it comes to fake profiles on Facebook. I mean, anybody can make a fake profile. See, I got my account verified because I am Meta verified. I have a subscription with Meta. So yeah, you're gonna see the check mark next to my name on Facebook. That it's not just the check mark why I pay the monthly subscription, but because now I can actually directly talk to someone on Facebook. I can email someone directly. I can have a direct support from an actual human being and not a fucking robot. I can actually talk to somebody. So, to me, it's worth the little bit of money that it costs me. I think I'm paying like 15 bucks a month for Meta Verify. It I'm okay with it. It's not like, I'm not throwing money away. I don't see it as a waste of money. I could be doing something entirely even more foolish with that kind of money. I don't have a drug problem. I like a beer once in a while on occasion. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drunk. But 15 bucks is a small price to pay for getting the added features. Um, I don't see for me, it's not a problem to do it. Other people might have their opinions and they're okay. It's just an opinion. It's whatever. But it's not coming out of your pocket. So with all due respect, don't worry about it. These are my finances. But then again, I'm putting it out there. So to put it out there and then tell these people don't have an opinion, that's kind of it defeats the purpose. But in any event, I think I'm getting my money's worth. And with the check mark next to my name, everybody's going to know that it's really me. It's legitimately Jer Bear. You know, it's not an imposter. So if anybody tries to fake being me, they're just wasting their fucking time because they're not meta verified either. And I'm going to get you. I'm going to report it. Even if the account, it doesn't have a profile picture, they're talking shit. Just like someone tried to start an Instagram. I mean, they were creating all these fake accounts under my name and profile picture, and it's like, "Wait a minute, that's not me." Like, someone tried to create an Instagram with my name and profile picture, and who knows what the fuck they were saying under trying to pretending to be me. Who knows what the fuck those people were saying. Um, but I've never had an Instagram or a Snapchat in my life. I've only ever had Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, but I don't even have Twitter now, or they call it X, because now it's owned by Elon Musk, or was owned by Elon Musk. I don't know the situation with that, honestly. Don't really care. But I'm still in the land of Zuckerberg if you're interested in knowing. Um, but I I shouldn't have to um what do you call I shouldn't have to abandon other people because certain people want to be liars and douchebags. I shouldn't have to do that. Um, I shouldn't have to delete or deactivate my account because people want to be liars. I can't control what other people do, but what I can do is I can tell those people who are convinced that I'm somehow a bad person, and I can say, "Am I really? Am I really a bad person? Where's the evidence that suggests to you that makes it clear to you that these things are true?" And don't tell me, "Well, a lot of people are saying it." Well, that's fine and fucking howdy doody dandy. I don't care. A lot of people can say a lot of things, and it's not true. Um, People can be, large groups of people can be convinced of lots of things, and every single one of them can be wrong. I mean, I don't know why people would think that that is so absurdly profound that well, that many people can't be wrong. Why the fuck can't they? Of course they can. Of course they can. What world do you live in, you know? But and the claims that are being made, it's like, can you independently verify that what they're saying about me is true? And instead, because I'm being the one being accused, they think that I need to demonstrate innocence, when in fact, they're the ones claiming guilt. They need to demonstrate guilt, not the other way around. I don't need to demonstrate innocence. They need to demonstrate guilt. They are the ones making the claims. And I mean, it's how the I hate to say this, I even hate to go this route, but it is evidence to me of an educational system that has failed a country entirely. That when you get information, you don't really know what to properly do with that information. You don't know how to fact check. You don't know how to verify things. It's crap. It's crap when you're just going to believe what you're told because a bunch of people said it. Well, that's not how we verify the truth. There has to be evidence that can be independently verified by an individual at any given time, not groups of people who are just saying that something is true. Uh, that's not how we go about determining truth. I mean, it's logic 101. I don't believe what people say just because a bunch of people say it. I actually have to verify that what I'm reading is true and accurate. And it can be verified and um, without a shadow of a doubt, this is true. It's like when they have those celebrity death hoaxes. You see a lot of those on the internet. People claiming that, you know, Tom Selleck died and Richard Karn died and uh, Ronnie Howard died. And it's like, no, that's not true at all. Jay, on the other hand, my brother, he's easily convinced. He's like, no shit, they fucking died. And it's like, dude, it's a hoax. Well, they're all saying it. They're all saying it. Jay, it's a hoax. It's not true. And then I had to show him because there was a rumor going around that Richard Karn died. He didn't die. And anybody can verify as to whether or not an actor is dead or alive. I mean, that's what Google's for. If if you Google an actor's name or anybody famous, popular, um, you Google their name, you can find out if they're dead or alive. I mean, that'll be the first article that comes up. Um, I mean, they'll tell you, born on this day, died on this day. I don't know. It's not hard to figure out. Um, but it's like, "No, Jay, Richard Karn is not dead, he's alive." "Well, how do you know?" I said, "Well, easy, a thing called Google." "Oh, okay, yeah, I see he's alive now." There you go. Not hard to figure out, bud. Um, but I think that's what and that is the driving force is the gullibility of people who can't think. They don't know how to when they're given information, they don't know how to properly assess what they're being told. And I think it's the case with the people from the childhood cancer demographic. They are convinced of everything they're told, which, when it comes to your kids, I mean, yeah, you don't want to, especially if it's something threatening, poses a threat like cancer. Um, you can't take that lightly. If a doctor says, "Well, we're thinking it's cancer," if you're not convinced, get a second opinion. But with gossip and rumors, um, when they're making claims about someone saying something inappropriate to a child or whatever, which is just fucking bogus. It's like, well, show the proof, show the evidence. Do you have a screenshot? Do you have an audio clip? Do you have a video clip? Do you have anything of substance that would make your case to be true and accurate? And many of my friends have listened to the advice I've given them because they say, "Well, I never really looked at it like that." Well, you're talking about, like I said, you're talking about a demographic of people who they love to use acronyms. No evidence of disease, NED. Well, evidence is the big player in that phrase. No evidence of disease. Evidence is the player. It's like, how can you use a word when you don't know what the fuck it means? And that is just one of the ways that the childhood cancer world is so fucked. And I wish people were more enlightened on how to think and educated on how to handle information when it's presented to them and not just accept it willy-nilly because, well, 500 people are saying this and there's no way that 500 people could be wrong. Well, that's not true either. 500 people can be wrong. 5,000 people, 50,000, 5,000,000, 500,000,000,000 people can be fucking wrong. Yes, sir. That is true. That is possible. So don't ever think just because a bunch of people say it that it's true. Those people would have to then independently verify it, which is part and parcel the reason why I today am an atheist. Mom knew that I was an atheist before she died. She was a Christian. I am an atheist, and a lot of people don't know that either. I kind of have to put out little hints like, I don't believe in this. I'm not convinced that your God of the Bible existed ever. I'm not convinced that some part of this magical sky wizard still exists and controls and dictates what human beings do like we're puppets on a string. I don't buy that. Um, and then they threaten me. Well, do you know where you're going when you die? When I'm dead, I'm probably gonna be cremated or buried. I'm going 6 feet into the fucking ground. What are you talking about? When I'm dead, I'm not gonna care. I mean, and that's to suggest that some part of you lives on after you're dead. Um, which there's no way to verify that. There's no way to know that. But, I'm just sitting here mindlessly rambling. To the person that I told that I'm gonna be live, I hope you were able to sit through, 2 hours of just constant babbling. I guess I can wrap up this live stream on a Friday night now that I have corrected it. It's not Saturday. I kept thinking today was Saturday, and it's like I was just watching SmackDown, WWE SmackDown. Um, but anyway, I thank you all for sitting through 2 long hours of mindless babbling and just me sitting here talking about random shit, and more importantly, talking about the death of my mom. I'm gonna have my good days and bad days, and I do, but most days are fine days, and I'm okay with that too. I'll do what I can to stay on top of taking my medication, and, I just remember that mom's out of pain. She would want me to get on with my life. She would want me to find happiness wherever I can find it. She would want me to continue on being the person I am, helping people and doing what I love to do and to do what makes me happy, and I know that's what she would want. And so I made a promise to mom before she died. I said, "Look," I said, "I promise you that if something happens," because I didn't want to make it sound like, "Yes, we know you're dying." But I told her, "If something happens, I promise you I will go on living my life. I'm not gonna do anything stupid or drastic to put myself in harm's way. I will do whatever I have to do to continue living and to just stay out of trouble." I mean, what other choice do I have? Um, but I did promise her that I would continue on with my life and, trying to be the best I can be to myself and to other people. More myself, though, because if I can't be good to myself, how can I be good to anybody else? So I have to learn how to treat myself once in a while, accept things that I don't want to accept, that I have no choice, I have to accept it, um, and just kind of mosey on with life, you know? I'm gonna miss my mom forever. I love her so much. I love my dad too. I still got my dad, and I'm thankful and grateful every day that I still have my dad. Um, my family has just been dropping like flies. I mean, it's not really an ideal way of putting it, but um, my family has just been dying left and right. My mom's gone, my grandpa's gone, my cousins are dying. A best friend died on the 4th of July. It's been rough going. But I will do my best to continue on living my life, and I'm gonna have those moments where I miss my mom incredibly. I miss her incredibly now, but those days are gonna come. Her birthday, Mother's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's even, starting a new year without her, and having my first Christmas and first Thanksgiving without her. Um, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a first, and the firsts are usually gonna be the hardest. But I've got support, I've got love, I've got wonderful friends and people in my life that help me to get through this, and they help me to cope. And, my advice to you is that if you still have a mom and dad alive today, please just if not for if not for yourself, do it for other people. Tell your mom and dad you love them as often as you can. If you have a healthy relationship with your parents, make sure that and if they're still alive, make sure that you maintain that. Never miss an opportunity to tell your mom and dad that you love them, or your children, or your brothers and sisters, or your cousins, or whoever, friends, doesn't matter. It's what you do today that matters, because when you're gone, it's forever. There is no turning back. There's no second chances. It's permanent. It's permanent. You're done forever. And, that's my advice to you. So, I'm gonna wrap this up. I've been here for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's the longest I've done a live stream ever on this channel, and I figured it would be different. Um, if I can afford to get some more alone time, um, then I will do another one, and hopefully I'll get the fucking day of the week right, because, I don't know why I was thinking today was Saturday. It's actually Friday, um, and it's gonna be Friday for another about 40 minutes because it's 20 after 11, so we got another 40 minutes left. But anyway, I love you all very much, and I thank you for stopping by and indulging me for the past couple hours. Um, I hope you got something from this live stream. I haven't done these in quite some time. I've missed a lot of Sundays where I wanted to just sit down and do an hour Sunday video update and talk about things and to just get it out of the way and get it out there. And but it's been there's just been so much going on that I haven't had the time, or I get feeling sluggish and lazy, where I just don't want to get out of bed. I have no motivation. I don't eat like I used to. I've lost weight because I don't eat, and I don't sleep like I used to. I don't sleep through the night. I'll fall asleep at 11 o'clock and I'll be up at quarter after 4 in the morning. I don't get a full hour or a full night's rest. Um, and it sucks because I like sleep. I love sleep, and I don't get the full night's rest that I should get. I was up at quarter after 4 this morning, fell back to sleep around 9 o'clock, slept until 9:30, I think. So I got like another half hour because I had to have my vehicle at Melvin Ford this morning at 11 because I thought I was going to get a front end alignment done, and I got all kinds of other shit going on with my vehicle, and it's actually not safe to drive. But anyway, I love y'all very much. Look for me on Facebook if you are genuine and you don't have any ill will or nefarious intentions, because my posts are not public, so you're not gonna see anything that I post. The only way you're gonna see anything I post is if you add me as a friend. You can follow me, but what good is it gonna do? Because there's no public posts. Um, the only way you're gonna get access to me and my life on social media is if you are actual friends with me on Facebook. That's it. Because people like to have fun. They like to take something and then they pass it on to other people and just to get people scared. Um, but I'm gonna be okay. I think I'm gonna be all right. So much love to all of you. Thank you so much for watching on this Friday night. I'm gonna get that thumbnail changed here in a little bit. But anyway, guys, I'm out. I love you very much, and take care of yourselves and look for me on Facebook. I got a link to my Facebook in the homepage of my YouTube channel. So make sure you go and check it out. So I'll see you guys later and have a good one. Bye bye.